What's up, man?
What's going on, brother?
I like your water bottle. There we go.
No, there it is. I love
How
it.
are you?
I'm well. I'm well. This is amazing. I think this might be the first Instagram live in the history of IG lives that has started early. That never happens.
Right on. I know I'm dealing with you, dude. You're a former Navy SEAL. I gotta be on time, ready to go. No room for lateness with you, man.
Oh man. Well, thanks for being here, brother. I appreciate you making the time. I know you're super busy.
No, I'm not that busy. Okay, I got time.
Well, it's kind of wild. We were last week. Kim and I were watching you open the CMA Awards with the Charlie Daniels tribute, and it was I don't know. It was pretty wild. It almost felt like everything had returned back to normal. Just like seeing you up on stage and perform, and it's like, all right, man, we're here. We made it. I don't know. It's kind of cool to see.
Yeah, it was super strange for me. I mean, I haven't been on a stage in so long, and let alone not just a stage, but to be out there with like a TV show environment with all the cameras and just all your peers, and then all the COVID procedures. Everyone you're talking to is wearing a mask and a face shield, and it's a very surreal world in that way. And to be inside a building, I mean, I'll show you this has been my view for for since like March. I'm not really I just haven't been inside a structure for a long time. So it was weird in a lot of ways, but it also felt great too. It was like a little bit of just a one moment in the year that felt a little normal, even though it was totally not normal. Just a little taste of that old feeling, and hopefully what is around the corner coming up this summer. But it was fun. It was fun having the guitar and singing some songs and seeing some friends. But hopefully it's a taste of where we're headed.
Yeah, it was kind of wild when the camera pulled back and panned the different stages. You saw people out in the audience, and everyone, there was space between all the tables, and it was like, oh man, we're back, but it's a little bit different, and we're still kind of navigating some unique situations, which was surreal to see.
Yeah, it really is. You're in a room, you take your mask off, there are other people without their mask on, and you're like, this feels really weird. But then you're like, well, this isn't, look at some of the data. It's like, we're totally fine being here, but it's a strange deal. Just one of those years you're trying to I'm trying to find the silver lining in it all and make the most of this time with my family and nature that I can before we get back out there again. But it was a nice moment. So thanks for watching, and I appreciate it, man.
How do you think about, back in April, you opened up for the ACMs, but it was a little bit different, right? You were on your back porch, and we were really at the start of this, kind of going under quarantine, and it was. Do you remember the song that you played for the ACMs?
I played "I Hold On" for the ACMs. I did for my back porch, which is right back around the corner over there, and it was just a kind of camera. The phone was shaking because I was stomping the ground, and I was like, I can't believe this is how we're doing award shows now. We're just gonna get our iPhones out and sing some songs into them. This is pretty convenient travel wise. That song was I thought it was a good song for that, for back in March. Probably good song for now. Sorry, there's a truck coming up the road here. Just about holding on, and we were just getting ready. We were kind of just launching into it. Sorry, busy day here in a town with no stoplights. And we're just kind of just getting started. So we got to hold on. We're headed into uncharted territory, and I kind of feel like we're back in that situation now. Coming out of summer, heading into this what Fauci's called could be a hard winter. So still an appropriate song for the times, I think.
Yeah, it's kind of wild. That song for me, in particular, when I hear it, and it was just so poignant to see you play it for everyone. I know your fans got so much out of it, but it's almost an anthem to show that, like, the adversity that we face and the challenges and the setbacks that we have to navigate and deal with, while they're hard, they also help us understand, what are the things that really keep us going, as you say, keep us going strong, and the things that fuel us and the things that matter most. I'd love to hear, this, I guess we've been at this quarantine thing for 7 months, or, this 2020 for a while now. Like, what are the things that you've been leaning into that you feel like have really helped you navigate these last few months?
Yeah, it's such a, when we're talking about, and hopefully we'll talk some more about Madefor, some of the parts of the program. But, for me, just living the life I live on the road, a lot of asphalt, a lot of concrete, a lot of, I like Nashville. It's not my ideal place to be spending my time, but it's where, it's a good city and it's where you need to be for doing what I do. But it's not where I'm from Arizona. I love the West, love the mountains. But I remember, you and Blake McCoskey, who knows as well, Sadhguru is such a big influence on me. One of the things he talks about is, it's not about the external, it's about the internal. I'm so often trying to change my external situation, like where I am right now. This is kind of my preferred place to be. I can't always be here. So a lot of times I find problems with, like, I'm always looking, there's being some sort of external problem. If I could just move somewhere, be somewhere else, everything would be fixed. But really, I think Sadhguru talks about this, and of course, there's a lot of what Madefor is about, is changing your internal approach to everything, and when there's a problem on the outside, maybe think, maybe it's not where I am or what's going on in my life, what's happening right now. I need to tweak some internal stuff. And I've been doing that for in some ways, for the 26 years I've been living in Tennessee. But, every year I kind of have to renew my contract internally with the city, with the environment, with living there. But that's what makes you stronger. Now here, every day I'm outside doing something. I've been fat biking up the mountain, or I've been Nordic skiing this morning with my wife, and I'm getting so much outdoor time. I haven't been focused as much on the internal. I'm kind of like, I kind of think everything's kind of like a wave, right? Like the ocean, even though I'm not, as you know, I'm not a very good surfer. I'm a definitely part of the rack B team.
You charge.
But, some waves come, waves go. The wave I'm on right now is a big outdoor wave. I haven't been doing a lot of like the practices that I was doing when I was back in Nashville, because I've just been kind of so busy just kind of stockpiling on the outdoor time. But try to think exactly how this ties back into what we're talking about. But
well, I think it's interesting. One of the things we talk a lot about Madefor is that there's no one way, right? There's just we're always, that our environment's always changing. The stress that we're under is changing. Even the things that build us up change from time to time. And so, what you may do in Nashville may be different than what you do, when you're in the mountains, or what you do when you're, back home on Camelback. Like, your environments are going to change, but where we try to focus, our energy and effort is bringing attention and awareness to, like, what are those small things that the small moments of time in the day, or
totally.
Whether it's getting some nature, or moving your body, or spending time with your family and being fully present in those moments, and just how much that buoys us up and, like, helps inspire us to, like, come out of these times stronger and just build momentum.
Oh yeah, and take advantage of the times, the moments that come, because when I was doing the Madefor course, all those little things I was doing back in Nashville, and living indoors a lot, and then but it really helped me, just my mindset, my daily habits, and just pausing a lot before I spoke, and just and just be more aware of my environment and everything that was happening. And then I got out here, and you add that to this situation, it just makes everything's just so sharp and clear, and I feel so much more. I just feel more alive, really. It's funny, I just wrote a song called "Being Alive." Not living, different song. I guess it's a big topic for me, but those habits and that mindset was so helpful. And it's like it's like putting gas on to a fire now, being here and having all that, having done the work, having completed the program. So, as you know, I was client number 1. Let's not forget about that.
Yeah, I wasn't gonna say anything. I was gonna save it to the end, but yeah, Dierks was you were our first, obviously, a friend and a great supporter, but you were our very first member. And I remember writing, when we were actually packing all of the kits, writing, first member, and we sent it off to you. And it's been cool to kind of have you on this journey.
You wrote it on the bottom of the box.
I did. Yeah, and now we're thousands and thousands of kits shipped later.
That's amazing, man.
We are. Awesome. It's crazy. So, over this, have you been writing music during this time? Have you been, like, what have you been doing?
Yeah, I have been. I've been sitting in the back porch writing songs all summer. And I was kind of writing I usually try to make an album first and then pick a single off that. But this time around, I was just kind of wanted to write songs and see if I could find one that would be a great thing to get out there to lead the charge.
Yeah.
And go back and work on an album later on. So I did that. Got the single out there now called Gone. And
it's amazing.
Yeah, it's a cool song. I wrote songs all summer, but I also listened to a lot of songs too from Nashville. Recognize there's so many great songs coming out of Nashville. And this song was sent to me, and I just love the title, because I feel like I've been gone, which I don't feel like it. I have been gone. I haven't been going back to Nashville since March. And but what I love to do is gone, touring's gone, and so. But I love the song's not about that. The song's about a relationship, but just a little touch of a little metaphorical reference to what's happening in the world around us. So I really liked it a lot, and I love the production, love the song. So got that out there, got that going, and which is awesome. And then we'll just be ready to go for May if we get the green light to tour. But in the meantime, just taking advantage of this this moment, just such a special. It could be a special time. For me and for my I've said this in a few interviews. I'm not trying to beat this point over, but I am still paying 25 my band and crew, my essential people, full salaries, which for me makes me feel like I can come out here and goof off and explore this time with my family and nature, and knowing I'm not like leaving those guys high and dry. So they're able to also, wherever they are, explore outdoors or spend more time with their family, or maybe they're getting involved in Madefor and working on some personal habits and mindsets. Just using this time. It's such a great time, really, to be getting into Madefor, because this is the time now to like pause, reset, reprogram, look at yourself, your mindset, look at your habits, and come out of this stronger if you can. I know a lot of people are suffering in untold ways, but for those, everyone has their own path they're on, and if for anyone out there that's interested in using this time or has is able to dig in, this is a good time to dig in and hopefully come out of this thing stronger.
Yeah, I love it. I mean, you and I have talked a lot about this, and I share this with our members. It's that, people have this perception about, Navy SEALs, and that's my background. I was in the SEAL teams for 9.5 years, and then left, and now working on Madefor full time. But people have this idea that SEALs are these superhuman figures that do these amazing things that are inaccessible to most of the population. And in fact, that couldn't be the furthest thing from the truth. What you have is very ordinary, average people that do some fundamental things really, really well. So they take a lot of small steps, and that momentum that they build up through those small efforts over time compel them to excellence and allow them to go to places and to do things that push their mind and their bodies to really crazy places. And I would imagine it's no different for high performers at any level, whether it's songwriting and you doing the work in Nashville and starting with your internships and kind of working from there. But it's this idea that small intentional effort over time, if it's mapped to a larger purpose, a larger vision for yourself, can take you to some really transformative places.
Gosh, it's so true, man. I mean, it is all about the small steps leading to the bigger spot. It's funny, you say that about Navy SEALs. I certainly think that about you all. I'm like, these guys just got something different about them. They're just, wired differently. But it really is just, you think about getting some through the hardships of training and stuff, you must just have to take it incrementally, just through one step at a time, or else you would never be able to get through it all. And I think that's with anything, it starts with just the smallest of steps. Certainly taking on a new sport, which I've done a lot of this year out here, certainly just even getting geared up to go back out on the road. It's not something that just happens. It's a long process, even as long as I've been doing it. It's already started out, just thinking about, okay, May, and not just the physical, the gear and the band and the music, but just internally, for me, kind of morphing a little bit into that person that goes out there on stage and does that. It's not really who I am naturally. It's something I have to mentally prepare for. Do a lot of there's a lot of internal steps, mental steps to kind of be in a place where I walk out there on stage and I can be who I need to be to lead the band, lead the crew, lead the fans. So yeah,
I just have to say, one thing that is just so that I've only grown more appreciative of and impressed about you is that, I've got 15-month-old or 16-month-old twin girls at home. We've got a startup that Blake and I are working on, and try to be present for my kids and for my wife and for the job and all the work. And I know that the amount of things competing for my attention pale in comparison to the amount of things that compete for your attention. But when I think of you, some of the first things that come to mind is that, man, that's a guy that coaches his kids' hockey team. That's a guy that has his kids out in the skate park. That's a guy that shows up for his wife when she's trying to raise money for causes that she cares about and running marathons. That's a guy that is intentional about how he's using his devices, and just the amount of attention and care and authenticity that you bring to every aspect of your life is so impressive, because I know, and I feel like everyone that's watching appreciates that, our attention is constantly being sucked up by all these things that at the end of the day probably don't do much for us, but you, for
Gosh.
whatever reason, seem to navigate that so well. And I'd love to say it's Madefor's responsibility, but I feel like this is just kind of naturally how you're wired. It's just, I mean, I think it's really awesome.
I gotta get my wife out here so she can hear you. Thanks about it, man. Thank you. Um, Man, yeah, there's I don't know. I think being on the road, you miss family so much. So when you're home, you really try to. I'm always envious of the guys that are able to coach their kids' teams. You know, you bump into guys in meet and greets, or they're like, "Oh yeah, I'm coaching my son's football team." I'm like, man, that's you think your kid might think I'm a rock star or something, but really you're the rock star out there coaching, leading Boy Scouts or coaching your kids. To me the real meat of life. And when I'm on the road a lot, a lot on Friday, Saturday, Sundays, I'm kind of sitting on the bus all day long trying to keep my energy up, get some exercise, then just lay low, rest my voice so I can get out there and do my thing. So I'm jealous a lot of the people I meet on the road because they've great lives and great families and doing great things. But I appreciate you saying all that. I think I am focused on, I think, I guess always once I started chasing the dream of music, I recognized that it's all in the details of how you are on stage and how you are with your band and crew, and if you and your guitar player are tight, and it's gonna make for almost like you might not. Most fans might not notice it out out in the crowd, but some are gonna notice. Hey, they're not. Something's weird there, just it's all about those little things. And I think the show gets bigger the more you got to focus on the details with anything. And the bigger something gets, the more you actually have to work in some ways to make sure it continues to improve. So, hell, I'm just trying to come up with stuff to say after you say all that nice stuff about me. So thanks. I am focused on the details. I guess that's why I'm so excited about Madefor is that I don't like my watch. I don't wear some crazy. I've been given free Garmin watches that have all this amazing pilot stuff because being a pilot. I've been offered so many times watches. I like this watch. It has it's functional, right? It has a vibration on it, so I can wake up in the morning without waking everybody up if I want to go work out really early. And it's just my dad wore a Timex Ironman as well. It's simple, I don't do the Apple Watch. I think just like what Madefor talks about, there's so much to be learned in the less is more category. It's not about bringing more tech. I love there's only one thing in Madefor that actually involves the phone. The rest of it's just low tech. But, you think about it, we've been around for 2 million, years as Homo sapiens, and our bodies have learned how to like use what's around us to maximize our potential. It's not, the people at Apple aren't coming up with ways Apple's not like outsmarting, 2 million years of growth. So I'm all about the simplicity of whether it's drinking the water, writing the letters, spending time in nature. There's so much to be gained there. I try to tell my kids that too. It's not, you're going to find the answers to life on tech. It's going to be, for me, it's getting outdoors. I think that's the main area that I stress in this family is about being outside. But it's certainly, I started thinking about getting back to Nashville, and making that change to going back to more of an indoor style of life. Sadly, I think about just sitting alone in a room. There's a lot to be gained from just being in a space like that, where just in a dark space and just spending time with yourself and focusing on the hydration and all the things that you can do anywhere. But currently ride this wave. It's pretty good out here.
Man, it looks epic. Yeah, we obviously we talk a lot about if you have to look to a device or a screen or an app or something outside yourself to see how you're feeling or how you're performing, you missed a really important step, right?
Totally.
That we all know inside ourselves what right is. It's just a matter of can you be present and aware to what are you doing and how it's affecting you. And if you look at the compounding effects of that done over small steps over a period of time, that's what Madefor does, and we help our members kind of do that. So it's cool to hear you share some alignment on that, because I think it really is where there's so much value to be had for people, regardless of what their situation is or what they're trying to navigate. So I love that. Well, I don't want to rob any of your fans opportunities to ask questions, and we've got some queued up here. I'm gonna dive in and ask a few. So
you guys, have the tale of two haircuts, man. You look like you're back at boot camp, and I'm
trying to be professional for you, Dierks.
I'm the before walking into Hell Week, and you're the after.
Oh man, that's funny. Yeah. All right, let's see. So JT88999 asked, what inspired you to write music?
I fell in love with country music when I was like 17. Actually, I should probably talk about this because I just played a tribute to Charlie Daniels. I kind of forget who all has influenced me over the years, but the guy that really got me into songwriting was Charlie Daniels, and I remember kind of taking one of his melodies and writing my own words over it. I'd never written a song before. I didn't know how to do all that stuff, so I was just trying to make up my own words and stuff. My favorite thing to do is to be on stage with the band, and I think it's really important. So that the songwriting almost comes secondary because it's just great to be able to sing some stuff that's personal to you with the band, with the crowd. So it was all part of the process. And being in Nashville, I was listening when I was kind of cutting my teeth. I was going out and watching a lot of bands play. I was writing my own songs. I was interning, learning how the whole music business works. So it's just part of the whole circle of like trying to make it, So songwriting was a big part of that.
When you are putting an album together, this is my own personal question, and you have a song like I Hold On that you wrote, and obviously that holds a special place for you, and you can see where that's going to fit on the album. And then you think about maybe there's some songs that you worked with other writers on, or maybe you and Ross partnered on something, or maybe you found something that you didn't write but that you have a special connection with. What does that process look like as you're building an album?
Yeah, man. Well, that's the big thing. I wrote all of my songs for so many albums, and then I almost feel like I've had two careers, with the Bluegrass album being the kind of pivot point between them. And I realized kind of somewhere in the middle of my career that you can't just play arenas and amphitheaters and also have a wife and 3 kids and dogs and still be a great songwriter all the time. It just can't happen. You're leaving a lot of great songs out there on the table that just because they don't have your name on it, you're not cutting them. And I wasn't ever really like that. I was willing to cut it. I wasn't really partial to my own songs. I just never had someone working to help me find those outside songs. And so once I started working with this guy named Arturo Buenajora, who actually signed me my first publishing deal, man, he went out there and started digging up great songs like Riser, which is kind of a cornerstone of the show now, and Burning Man, 2 songs I didn't write. That if you find, the goal is to find songs that feel like they could be something you wrote, and something you kind of grow into, like something you achieve to be. And like Burning Man, when I first heard that, I didn't know. Somewhere on the Beach, I didn't write that either. I was like, is this me? Can I really sing a song about somewhere on the beach? And now, once you cut it and sing it a few times, you're like, wow, feels like I wrote this song. So you kind of become those songs, and it helps your career grow in different ways you wouldn't have been able to grow if you just were writing all your own stuff, I feel like. So that's an important part, is cutting outside songs, for sure, I think.
So for Gone, that just was released a couple weeks ago, what's that song do for you? Like when I hear it, there's a couple things. One, it's the actual story about checking out and going in solo, and like I'm out, like I'm totally off the grid, and I'm going to be in my space. But then the other part of it is like just the energy that's behind it makes me want to like get out and re-engage. And so there's like this interesting kind of like push and pull. But I'm curious, like what does it do for you?
That's what I wanted to. You're trying to. I wish you could just say, I want to write this. This kind of song I want, and this is what the message to be. Let's just go write it. It just doesn't work that way. It's like you just write so many songs. I do, at least trying to hope to find something that connects between the what I want it to be and what it actually is. There's that space is hard to. That's what makes it special, is trying to navigate that space. And I wanted something that kind of felt good. I started off in March and April and May writing a lot of songs about the times we were going through. Kind of COVID-inspired songs. I have a great song I wrote with to my buddy Ross Copperman, who you know well, and then a guy named Ashley Gorley, both some of the best songwriters in Nashville. We wrote a song called "What a Year," and it's kind of like the song you'd sing on the backside of this pandemic. Maybe still recorded, I'm not sure, but I had a lot of songs like that, and I started thinking towards the end of summer, I was like, man, when I listen to country radio, I think I just want to hear stuff that just feels good and doesn't like. I've watched so much CNN, and I don't need any more news briefs in my country music. So I just wanted to put something that felt like a jam, but obviously has some meat in the writing, and want to get the music to sound kind of big, but also have some acoustic instrumentation, have a little bit of bluegrassy stuff, instruments I call them, dobro stuff. So it was a really perfect combination of finding the right songs and right song and then right production and right message. And I think it's a great song for right now, so I couldn't be happier about it.
I love it. There's a few people have asked, do you have a favorite song that you've written?
Favorite song that I've written. I mean, I Hold On's a big one. That's a big one. But then Drunk on a Plane's a big one. That's an important part of the show. And What Was I Thinking's probably still a favorite. And I mean, Vince Gill said something a long time ago. He's like, man, you got to make sure you pick hits that you can live with. You know, it's always stuck with me. And I've passed in a lot of big hit songs that I didn't think they'd resonate with me for the rest of my career. So everything I put out there is like special for some reason or other. You know, every time I sing that song in the show, my mind's going somewhere to when we wrote it, or maybe it's the meaning's changed based on my external circumstances. And so they're all special. With that said, I would say maybe I hold on just because I wrote it right after my dad passed away.
Yeah.
Started working on it that same day, not on purpose. Just started kind of coming to me, and it's kind of weird too. Like my dad was definitely he didn't overly promote me getting into music, or he's definitely loved that I was doing it. He loved everything that went along with it, and my career kind of stalled out at that point when he passed away, and then ever since he's been gone, I've been things have been a lot better. So, and that song was kind of the turning point for it all. So that's my biggest belief, that he's up there somewhere around there, somewhere, cheering me on and pulling some strings for me.
Oh man, I love that. That's so powerful. A few people have asked I didn't realize this is your birthday week, so happy early birthday.
I forgot.
You get a lot of birthday wishes.
I keep forgetting that as well. When you have kids, you kind of forget about that stuff. But yeah.
So we have a whole month at Madefor focused on connection and the power of connection, and thinking about investing in the people that we're connected with and the relationships. And out of that month, we have a series of questions that we ask. And one of the questions, and it kind of dovetails into a lot of people have asked, What are you doing for your birthday? I'm going to tweak it a little bit and ask, what does your perfect day look like? If you could design a perfect day for Dierks, what's that day look like?
I mean, my wife just asked, like, what do you want to do for your birthday? I'm like, nothing. Just stay here. I mean, I just love being somewhere where I can do so much outdoor stuff in between dropping my kids off at school and picking them up. So the perfect day for me is just, not sound like a broken record, but if it would involve just a family, just doing stuff with family. Just do some, like a hike with my wife would be. I get so much enjoyment out of that. It never gets old for me. And then taking the kids sledding or something, snowball fight. I don't know, family dinner. Maybe watch Elf for the 100th time. I've already gone full Christmas in there. Like, why not? The snow on the ground. Might as well put the tree up in the air. So tree's up, lights are up. I've watched Elf. I've watched Christmas Story. I've already listened to Mariah Carey's. And I think it's called. What's their song? Wham? No, is it? I saw the Taylor Swift cut that it used to be an old like '90s song. Anyway, I'll think of it while we're talking. But yeah, I just being here, just being alive and being with my family. It's good. That's about as good as it gets.
I love hearing it. And the recurring themes are, family, nature, being active. It's a little bit of music.
Right.
Like, these are all things that are accessible to everyone. These aren't special practices or special.
Yeah, but I think that's what I think that's what the Madefor thing's kind of about. We overlook some of the simplicities, the joy that comes in the growth that can come with some of the simpler things that are already around us. We're always, I was telling my wife this the other day. It's like, what's up, dude? UPS guy. Joel. I was telling my wife I have to remind myself too sometimes, certain things, you attain certain things, and then you're doing them, and then you kind of forget how you felt back when you always thought, man, if that one thing happened, I'd be so happy, right? And then it happens, and you kind of just human nature to kind of almost forget about it and realize like you're living in some ways like the dream has happened. Like for you guys having kids, or for me, having my family. It's like it's just these little things around you. You just kind of stop and go, okay, how did I feel about this 2 years ago? Oh my gosh, 2 years ago, if I saw this, I'd be so stoked that this is like here, and just having a constant. I think that's the way I approach the stage. People ask, how do you keep the show from getting old, or for me, I don't want it to ever feel like a show. I want it to feel like it's magic every time, and that's all about walking on stage every day and trying to find that sense of joy and wonder that you had the very first time you were asked to play a song live for somebody. And so just tapping back into that. I think that's what Madefor does so well. It helps us tap back into these, these things that have always existed. We've kind of forgotten about or overlooked, living in this crazy world that's moving so quick. There's no attention span, and TikTok's the new long form. TikTok's the long form music video now. It's like
which you're on now. So follow Dierks on TikTok
well,
if you haven't
I
checked it
know
out.
my Lexi, who works back in Nashville in social media, she's been asking me for 2 months to do like make a TikTok announcement video. I'm like, I just keep putting her off. I'm hoping she'd forget because I'm like, I don't want to be on TikTok. I don't know how to TikTok. It's not it doesn't feel like it's an adult thing, but it's the new world of country music singers. We have to be involved in TikTok, as I call it.
Man, well, I love it. I love it. Well, Dierks, I can't thank you enough for making a little bit of time. One for being the first member of Madefor,
Yeah, man.
and for doing the program and just for how you show up and for
Is
being
the water
here.
bottle still one of the first?
It is. We actually just launched an intro kit for those of you that are interested. You gave me the opportunity. We just launched our new packaging and kind of intro kit that comes with a bottle and publication, and it talks a little bit. One thing we didn't talk about much is the science behind Madefor. So we have Dr. Andrew Huberman, a neuroscientist out of Stanford, Dr. John Rady, a number of really, really smart people because God knows I'm not that smart person. We have a number of smart people that helped us put this program together. So
yeah, maybe for some of my fans that tuned in that aren't totally sure, why don't you give them a little just quick synopsis about what it's about?
Yeah, absolutely. So Madefor is a 10-month program. We curate science, tools, steps, and really wrap around a whole level of support to help people take small, purposeful steps over a 10-month period of time to really build your body and your brain and your mindset in a positive direction. So the people that come out of this program really connect with and shift their mindset in a very strong, purposeful way that helps them step into their life more fully and just emerge from opportunities. Like when I say opportunities, emerge from stressful environments or the environments we found ourselves in stronger and not beat down or broken down by them. So take a little bit of what I learned in the SEAL teams, and we marry it with some neuroscience and some positive psychology and a whole bunch of other different science, and then package it up into small steps over time. So that's Madefor, all analog, offline, and then it's pretty cool. We've been at it for just over a year now, and we've got thousands of members all across the country going through and seeing the benefits, and it's a pretty cool community that we're growing. So we're grateful that you're a part of it, Dierks, and
yeah, man.
And thanks for being here. One thing I'll just tell anyone that is tuned in right now, if you're interested in Madefor and want to check it out, one thing that you can do, we might be able to get you in our next class. If you're watching this, maybe find something today. We always like to end our sessions with an action, but find something today that you feel is building you up, is helping you step closer to the things that make you feel stronger and better. It could be a little bit of music. It could be getting outdoors. It could be a small moment with your family, great food, moving your body, whatever that thing is. But if you can find something that is really building you up today, if you want to snap a photo of it, tag at Madefor, we'll pick a few of the top submissions and get you in. So we appreciate appreciate everyone being here. All right. The signal's kind of going out. Thanks, Dierks, for being here. Thanks to everyone for tuning in, and wish you the happiest of birthdays, brother. And we'll talk.
Thanks,
soon.
man. Good to see you, bro. You look younger than last time I saw you. I look old.
It's not the twins. All right, man. Cheers. Happy holidays.
See you. See you, everybody. Thanks for watching us. Appreciate y'all. I love the comments.